In this video, I want us to talk about questions to ask before you say I do. So one of my favorite clients to deal with, as I work through personal finance and whatnot with people is couples, because the number one reason why people get divorced is because of money fights and money problems, money issues. Oh, they're spending too much on their in-laws, or spending too much on debt, or spending too much in general. So I wanted to do this video to talk to my single folks out there. These are people that you're about to get married, or you might already be married and you never had some of these discussions. So this video is broken into 4 parts. The first part is understanding the full picture. Second part, determine how you would operate. Third part, deep dive into the past. And then fourth part is to dream about the future. So in the first part, understanding the full picture, this is where you talk about everything. You talk about the debts, you talk about what's on ground, how much you make, how much you bring in each month, how much you bring in each year, what's your salary, how much is your rent, how much is your mortgage, how much is your car payment, how much is your student loan payment, how much do you owe on your student loans, how much do you owe on your line of credit, how much do you owe on XYZ, how much do you spend on X in a month, what's your current phone bill, how much do you pay on your car insurance, how much do you pay on XYZ bill that you're currently paying for, how much do you spend on eating out on average, do you budget, do you not budget, do you like budgeting, do you hate budgeting? So this is where you talk about understanding the full picture. So what you're trying to get here, if you were a single person and you're for quote unquote you were having a discussion with your potential mate or potential partner, you would ask the person all these questions. The second thing you want to do is to determine how you guys would operate. So as a household, how do we want to operate? Are we going to combine finances? Are we choosing to keep finances separate? Are we going to pay off each other's debt? So for example, if you are coming with debt and I'm coming with debt, do we each deal with our own debts, or do we combine forces and attack everything together as a unit? You want to have those discussions. Don't make any assumptions, okay? Whatever you do is better to over ask questions than to assume. Again, I say it's better to over ask questions than to assume. Okay, do not assume anything. Ask the questions, use scenario planning. Let's move on to the next part, a deep dive into the past. Now, it's very easy for people to talk a big game in the first 2 parts in terms of understanding the picture and determining how you would operate. One of the reasons you want to have conversations about the past is so you can understand this person's programming when it comes to money. You can understand how this person thinks about money, how this person processes money, and from a psychological, emotional, mental perspective, how they would handle money pressures in general. Was this the kind of person that grew up in a home where only the dad made money, for example, and the mom was always, at the mercy of the father to be able to access money? Was this a home where, for example, either of the parents was not working for whatever reason, and finances in general was used as a tool, to manipulate but where money was used as a tool, to control people? You understand? You want to understand that. You want to ask those questions around how they see money. For example, you might have a person who, they grew up well off, but for example, because their parents didn't budget properly or just didn't plan properly, while to outsiders, they looked very rich, on the inside, they were actually struggling and suffering. So you might have some people that went to the best of schools or that went to the best of places. Meanwhile, they couldn't afford basic things like groceries. It happens. Okay. So you definitely want to make sure that, you take a deep dive into the past. What was their mom like with money? What was their dad like with money? Who was their favorite person they looked up to when it came to money? Who was the person that they were like, oh, I wanted to be like this person when I grew up concerning finances? There are people that grew up in households where nobody talked about money. No one had those conversations. They just kind of took things as they came. If this is the person you're trying to get married to, you definitely want to understand that. Okay. The next part is to dream about the future. So now that you've gotten a much better understanding of where the person currently is, you understand where they are coming from, you understand how you're going to operate your home, when you do get married or if you're already married, you want to dream together about the future. Okay, so now that we have a better understanding of each other financially, what are the things we want to come together to achieve? For example, if this person brings this strength and you bring this strength, what do those 2 strengths combined, what could you potentially use it to do? For example, if the person you're getting married to makes a lot of money, that's a strength. But it's also possible that they are a bad spender. You, on the other hand, you don't make that much money, but you are a great spender in the sense of you are very strategic in how you spend your money. Those are two strengths that could potentially combine and make for amazing things when it comes to your finances and your wealth building. So you want to dream together. For example, okay, when do you guys plan on buying a house if you don't already have a house? How many, real estate properties are you hoping to own? Is what type of investing are you hoping to do together? If you have debt, what's the game plan for how you guys are going to pay it off together? So that's what I mean by dreaming together for the future. Overall, when it comes to who you're going to marry and when it comes to money, ask a lot of questions. Do not assume, ask a lot of questions. Like I said, there are 4 different areas you definitely want to ask questions. One, you want to understand the full picture. Where are their finances currently? How much debt do they have? How much money do they make? How much this do they, what are they bringing to the table when it comes to finances? The good, the bad, and the tremendously ugly. Number 2, determine how you would operate in the sense of, okay, if we come together as a man and wife, what are we going to do together as a family? How are we going to operate our daily operations, from groceries to budgeting to, what is our operations going to be? Number 3, a deep dive into the past. What are some of the programming that this person is coming into the marriage with? Is money a tool to control? Is money something you give away? You give everything away, because over generosity is also a problem. Okay, there's nothing wrong with being generous, but you don't want to be generous to the point where your own household is now at risk. Okay. And then last but not least, in the 4th section is where you dream together about the future. What are those things we're going to conquer together? One would chase 1,000, 2 tens of thousands. That's the season we're looking at. Okay, you right now, you're able to pay off XYZ, but if we come together with your income and my income, we can eliminate this in 6 months or less. That's the kind of thing I mean about dreaming together for the future. Overall, if you do these 4 things, I have no doubt that for the most part, you would be able to have a clearer understanding, more clarity for sure, as to who you're getting married to when it comes to finances. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.